Hey you guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And yesterday I announced the beginning of the self-help book club. I was kind of excited that a couple people commented and a couple more people reached out to me and said that they had gotten online and they bought the book. I was like, even if one or two other people read this book and are like, get anything out of it the way that I did. Now, I will tell you, if you watched my video yesterday, I have recommended this book. I actually didn't think about this until I got done with the video yesterday. I was thinking about this friend of mine that I recommended this book to 2 years ago, and she was like, I didn't really have the same response from it that you did. And I was like, you didn't like it? And like I said, I haven't read it since I was like my late 20s. So I don't know. I might read it this time and be like, oh, this book is crap. But I still think the sentiment of it and the rules are still great. So the book is If Life Were a Game, These Are the Rules by Dr. Cherie Carter Scott. But I was thinking about that yesterday because people were like ordering the book. They were like reaching out to me. They're like, I ordered the book online. I can't wait for it to come. I can't wait to read it from you. Other people were like, I can't wait for your video at the end of the month to hear about this book, which was really nice. But I was like, even if just one or two other people read it with me, you know, I'm going to read it anyway. So I thought, why not do it over here? I think like the next month, like December, I will probably pick The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins or the Un-F Yourself book. I'm going to pick one of those two books. That will be December and January probably, just to kind of give you a heads up if you're going to read those books anyway. Because a couple people reached out to me and asked me when I was going to read them, and I think somebody commented and said they were going to read The Let Them Theory. Like I said, I've watched a lot of her videos. I've seen all of her, like, you know, the Instagram posts that come up all the time. I've read the original poem that it comes from and things like that. But I have not read the book in its entirety. I heard it was fantastic. So I will probably pick that for December. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up about that. In case you're going to read it. I mean, you can read it now and just, you know, whatever. But just kind of give you a little bit of a heads up. Okay, so today I thought we would get back to, and I am going to do a Melody Beattie book in there. It'll either be probably Acceptance. Oh, 40 Days and 40 Nights is really good. I haven't read that in a while. But I think because I love Codependent No More, well, maybe I'll pick that for December. I don't know. We'll have to see how I feel when we get to December. But anyway, I'm really excited about this self-help book club because, yeah, I think I did this a couple years ago, and I don't know when I just kind of stopped doing it. But anyway, today we're back to Melody Beattie and the meditation books. So let's get into this. Today is November 5th. I cannot believe, like, we're already like a week into November already. Before we know it, it'll be Christmas and then New Year's and then Valentine's Day and then the pool will be opening again. Okay. So let's look in here and see what the meditations are for today, November 5th. And I didn't do yesterday, so today's is Let's Make a Deal, in the language of letting go. Yesterday's was anger. Ooh, I always love talking about anger, fear. Oh, I forgot. It's talking about the stages of grief. Okay, so maybe I'll just like randomly just like pick one. Well, I don't know which one. So anyway, let's look in Journey to the Heart, because this is going through the stages of grief right now, which I think is great to talk about. But if you're going to do it, then I think I should have done it probably every day. Okay, November 5th, in the Journey to the Heart book, this one right here. November 5th, yesterday was Move On to Joy. It's literally a paragraph and 2 sentences. It's that short. November 5th, Create Your Destiny from Your Heart. Oh, that might be a good one. Let's read both of these, shall we? Shall we read both of these? So let's read November 4th, Move On to Joy first, since it's really short. Are you willing to be here in constant, abject pain 1 minute longer? I'm not. Are you willing to be here suffering endlessly and needlessly through distressing situations, worrying, fussing, fretting about things you cannot do anything about? I'm not. And we don't have to be. We're here to feel joy and absorb all of life's beauty we can. If pain comes, let it pass quickly through, then move on to joy. It's a conscious choice. This is something that took me a really, really long time to figure out and to understand how to apply to my life. You know, I think, and I don't think it's necessarily apply. She says to move quickly through. I'm not sure that I necessarily believe in that. I'm a big believer in feeling your pain and feeling it for as long as you need to. I think each of us know when we've got to a point where we're stuck in pain, anger, misery, resentment, denial, the stages of grief that, you know, we're talking about in the other book. I think sadness, I think we all know when we've been stuck there and you can't see outside of it. You know, it's like all you're thinking about is the ex that broke up with you. But it's not 3 months later, it's 9 months later. You can't really see outside of it. You know, like you can't see out of, I don't know, like a friendship that's lost, or you feel like somebody did you wrong. I think that that's one that's really hard. Like, you always want to share your story. And like, if somebody just, if they saw it my way, or if I could convince somebody of this. And you know what's interesting about that is I look back on my life, and there have been moments where people have done me wrong. There's been moments where I've done people wrong. And I have convinced other people of the truth. It didn't make me feel any better, you know? It didn't make me feel any better to tell on somebody, or, you know, to prove, I don't know. And it didn't really change their situation. And what I realized was that I had wasted a lot of time and energy obsessing and being, you know, just constantly thinking about, you know, it's the whole idea of drinking poison expecting the other person to die, or letting people live rent space in our head for free. I'm not, and I'm not, on this meditation specifically, I'm not talking about grief of loss, of losing people, like, that have passed away. Because I think, depending on the relationship, depending on who it was, that could literally take maybe the rest of your life, you know, and you're going to feel remnants of that. And I think that that's appropriate, and that's a personal timing thing. When it comes to feeling misery and anger, I think especially anger, and I believe that anger is a secondary emotion. Anger is usually covering up something. If you're really angry at somebody, it's covering up something that you feel like you were made a fool, or you're hurt. What's a primary emotion underneath there? Like, it's a pain. Was your ego insulted? Do you feel exposed? Do you feel betrayed? Were your feelings hurt? Did you hope more for this and happened? And so it's really kind of about moving through that, you know, and like really realizing what the anger is about. What's the anger masking? And I've had to look at that. But I am somebody today that, like, I don't want to waste an hour. I'm not saying that I don't get angry. But for me, when I get that angry, I need to process it with somebody, whether that's my sponsor, my therapist, my best friend, my husband, another friend. I need to write it out. I need to think about it when I'm on my walk at night. I need to process it and then move through it. Because I don't want to stay in that anger. I don't want to stay in that state that it talks about in here of misery and pain for the rest of my life. I really don't understand people that do. But I know people that do. And every time it's like, and you don't really want to be around them, you know? I mean, like, because, I mean, I know people like this, and they'll say, like, I don't really do a lot anymore, and I don't see people, and nobody really wants to do anything with me. And I'm thinking, yeah, because every time I do, you're constantly talking about your ex, and it's been 2 years. And they're married to somebody else now, and you're still talking about your ex. I'm not talking about abusive situations. I'm talking about that. And the thing is, what I had to realize, okay, is that I have a choice in that. I can go to therapy if I can afford it. I can journal about it. I can think about it on walks. I can talk to my sponsor about it. I can talk to other people about it. I can read books about it. I can listen to music that puts me in a different way. I can find other creative outlets. There's a lot of things that I can do other than just staying stuck in my misery and pain. That does me no good, and that does nobody else any good as well. You know, so I think it's a personal choice. At some point, you have to ask yourself, do I really want to stay stuck here anymore? When I talk about doing the work, a lot of the work is acknowledging the fact that we choose sometimes to stay stuck in the pain that we're in. You know, it's a choice that we're making. I mean, and I'm not talking about a week later. I think we're raw and vulnerable. I'm talking about months later, years later. You know, my mom, she really struggled even many years later after my parents had gotten divorced and my dad had been married to my stepmother for years. And she'd still say things like, I just don't know, like, what I did. And I'm like, oh my God, like, that marriage did not define you. That relationship did not define you, but she felt like it did. And only when, you know, she started deeply working in therapy about that stuff and really, like, went through a lot of stuff did she realize it was how she viewed herself in this world by being codependent and identifying herself off of her relationships with other people. I've done that a lot in my life, you know? I've done that a lot. Yeah, I want people to like me. I want people to love me that are in my personal life and things like that. But that doesn't, just because somebody likes me or loves me doesn't validate it. I have to do that I have to do my work myself. We all do, you know? And there has to become a point for all of us. I mean, this is where we have to get right down to, you know, just the weeds of it all. Is we have to ask ourselves, like, are we going to be here forever? No. Am I given today? Yes. Am I promised tomorrow? No. These are not just self-help mantras. These are not just things that we see on Instagram posts. These are real facts. Every one of us knows somebody that was gone in an instant. All of us, most of us know people that are fighting right now. We don't know how much longer they're going to have. Either they're older or they're going through medical crises and things like that. Yet we live our lives, like in The Comfort of Crows, Margaret Wrinkle says, as if we have unlimited time. We live our lives as if we have all the time in the world to be angry. I don't want to waste my time being angry, you know? I just don't. Do I think it's important to feel through my feelings? Absolutely. To feel through the anger, to process it, to get it out, to scream off of a bridge if I need to, you know, to get it out in my walks, and other people do it in exercise and gardening and cooking and things like that. But to stay stuck in it does me no good. It affects the people around me, and it doesn't really change the outcome, you know? So no, I don't want to be stuck in anger. I don't want to be stuck in pain, and I don't want anybody else to be either. And I'm going to end there today because I think that is such a powerful meditation, even though it was so short. Sometimes the best messages, you know, it's so interesting, like being in recovery. I think people think like, oh, you know, like people that have 30 years, I have friends of mine that have 40 and 50 years, you know, it's like, oh, they are so wise. I hear some of the wisest things in meetings from people that literally have 5 days sober. They'll say something, I'm like, oh my God, just jaw drop moment. I'm like, oh my God, they said what I've been feeling for the last 10 years and I haven't been able to put words to it, you know? So sometimes the best messages come from the least expected places. Anyway, I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.